I helped my friend's mom in the garage. Then she asked, "Do you want to kiss me?" His best friend, Liam, had asked him to come over because his mother, Dr. Mara Kincaid, needed help with a small mechanical problem in the garage. Evan thought it would be easy, maybe fixing a broken lawnmower or adjusting a squeaky wheel. He never imagined the adventure that awaited him. The Kincaid house stood at the edge of town, a tidy, two-story home with a garden full of blooming flowers. Evan parked his bicycle by the driveway and walked to the garage, where Liam waved him over. The garage door was partially open, revealing shadows that danced under the sunlight. Evan noticed that the structure seemed bigger on the inside than it looked from outside, a detail he found odd but shrugged it off. "Hey, Evan," Liam called. "Mom says you're really good with your hands. You'll know what to do." Evan smiled politely and followed Liam inside. The garage was cluttered, not just with tools and car parts, but with unusual equipment he had never seen before. There were panels that hummed softly, boxes covered in symbols he didn't recognize, and what appeared to be a small metallic pod in the corner. At first glance, it looked like an old, beaten-up car, but something about it didn't seem right. Mara appeared from behind a stack of toolboxes. She was tall, with sharp features softened by kind eyes. Her hair was tied back and she wore a simple pair of overalls. "Ah, Evan," she said. "Thank you for coming. I need someone with a careful hand and a curious mind." "That's you, right?" Evan nodded, slightly uncomfortable. "I guess so. What's the problem?" Mara smiled mysteriously. "It's this," she said, gesturing toward the pod. It looked scratched and worn as if it had been through decades of use. "It hasn't worked for a while. I think it's trying to wake up." Evan furrowed his eyebrows. "Wake up?" "Yes," Mara replied, crouching next to the pod. "Not like a car or a drone. This is something much older, something alive in a way you wouldn't expect." Evan blinked. Something alive. He had always loved science and technology, but this sounded like something out of a science fiction story. "Alive," he repeated, stepping closer. He noticed that the pod seemed to shimmer faintly, almost like it was breathing. Mara handed him a small, glowing tool. "Try pressing here, but carefully. It only responds to certain touches." Evan did as he was told. The moment his fingers brushed the pod, a soft hum filled the room, vibrating through the floor and walls. Lights blinked along the pod's surface and a holographic display projected into the air. Evan's heart raced. He had never seen anything like this. "Wow," he whispered. Mara watched him closely. "It recognizes you," she said. "Not me, not Liam, you." Evan turned to her, confused. "Recognizes me? Why me?" She shook her head. "I don't fully know, but I suspect your presence is unique. Maybe your mind, your biology. You carry something human that this device needs." The pod's lights brightened, and the holographic display expanded to show images of planets, star systems, and strange, alien symbols. Evan's eyes widened. He realized this was no ordinary machine. It was a ship, an ancient vessel with intelligence, capable of communicating and responding to him. Liam, who had been leaning against a workbench, looked equally stunned. "Mom, this thing, it's alive." "Yes," Mara said softly. "Alive, and it's been waiting." "Maybe for centuries." Evan took a deep breath. "So, what does it want?" Mara smiled faintly. "That's what we are about to find out, but first there's a question it needs to ask, a question only you can answer." Evan tilted his head, unsure. "A question? What kind of question?" Mara hesitated, then said quietly, "It uses a phrase from an ancient alien language. It comes out as, 'Do you want to kiss me?'" Evan blinked. "A what?" Liam snickered nervously. "Mom, is this a joke?" Mara shook her head. "No joke, it's a translation, it's symbolic. The pod doesn't mean what it sounds like. It's asking if you want to form a bond, if you accept responsibility, if you want to trust it." Evan stared at the pod. The hum grew louder, almost like it was urging him. He felt a strange connection, as if the machine could see his thoughts, his intentions, even his curiosity. It was as if it knew him better than he knew himself. He swallowed hard. "And if I say yes," Mara's eyes shone with anticipation, "then it will fully awaken, and we will begin to understand why it came here and why it recognized you." Evan hesitated. He had always been cautious, never rushing into unknown situations. But something deep inside him told him this was the moment he had been waiting for, something big, something extraordinary. Yes," he said finally. The pod's surface rippled like liquid metal. The lights flared brighter and the humming became a soft, melodic tone. Symbols swirled in the air, forming patterns Evan had never seen. And then, the pod opened. A door slid silently to the side, revealing an interior filled with sleek alien instruments and displays. Evan stepped forward, his heart pounding. Mara followed closely, her expression calm but expectant. Liam hesitated at the edge of the garage, unsure if he should follow. Inside, the air felt different, lighter, charged with energy. The pod seemed to breathe around them, welcoming Evan. He realized that this machine wasn't just a ship. It was a gateway, a connection to a galaxy that had long forgotten humanity. Mara placed a hand on his shoulder. "Remember," she said softly, "you are the one it recognized. You carry the key." Evan nodded, taking in the complex consoles, the alien screens, and the strange, hovering tools. He felt a mix of fear and excitement. He didn't know what lay ahead, but he knew one thing: life as he had known it was over. From this moment, nothing would ever be the same. As he reached out to touch another panel, the pod responded again, as if welcoming him, guiding him. It projected more holographic images, planets, ships, civilizations, all connected by streams of light. Evan realized that humanity had been erased from these records, deliberately hidden by an ancient interstellar alliance. And now, it had found him. The garage seemed to disappear around him. The walls faded into a soft, glowing mist, leaving only Evan, Mara, and the pod. The hum deepened, and a voice, soft, melodic, and somehow human, spoke inside his mind. "Do you accept the responsibility of returning your kind to the stars?" Evan felt the weight of the question. He thought of Earth, of humanity, of the curiosity and courage that had always defined his species. He realized that the pod's strange phrasing, "the kiss," was simply a test, a way to see if he was willing to rise to the challenge. He took a deep breath, looking at Mara, then at the pod. "Yes," he said firmly. The pod responded instantly. Its lights spun faster, the humming became a song, and the garage, once ordinary, transformed into a launch bay of light and energy. Evan felt a surge of exhilaration. This was only the beginning. Outside, Liam watched in awe, unable to speak. Mara smiled knowingly, as if she had expected this all along. Evan, standing inside the pod, realized something extraordinary. Humanity had been forgotten, hidden from the stars, but it was not gone. And now, through him, it was waking up. The adventure had just begun. Evan's heart was still racing as the garage transformed into the luminous interior of the pod. He had never seen anything so alive. Every surface shimmered, flowing with energy like a river of light. It was as if the walls themselves were breathing. Even the air felt electric, filling his lungs with a sharp, clean freshness that seemed impossible for a simple garage. Mara stood beside him, calm and collected, as if this moment had been predicted for decades. Liam hovered just inside the threshold, his eyes wide with awe. "Mom, what is this?" he whispered. "It's a ship," Mara said, her voice steady. "Not an ordinary ship, though, something far older, something that has been waiting for the right human to find it." Evan looked around, still trying to process the magnitude of what he was seeing. He had always loved science fiction, reading about starships and alien civilizations, but this was real. The pod or ship was real. It breathed, it thought, and somehow it had chosen him. "What do you mean, chosen me?" Evan asked, his voice barely above a whisper. Mara gestured toward a central console that glowed with pulsing light. Holographic symbols floated above it, shifting in patterns he couldn't comprehend. This ship is sentient. It responds only to humans it recognizes as compatible. You, Evan, carry a signature that matches the original humans who designed this technology. Evan froze. Original humans? You mean like ancestors? Mara nodded. Not just ancestors. Ancient humans from thousands of years ago, before humans even spread across Earth fully. The creators of this technology understood things no one else could. They built safeguards and they hid the knowledge, fearing it could fall into the wrong hands. And now you are the first one capable of activating it. The pod hummed louder, as if affirming Mara's words. Evan felt a warmth in his chest, a connection forming between him and the ship. It was alive, yes, but it was also aware of him, aware of humanity. Liam stepped forward hesitantly. So humans were erased from space. Yes, Mara said, her eyes darkening slightly. Long ago, a coalition of alien civilizations decided humans were too unpredictable. They removed our species from their records. They expected us to vanish. But the humans who designed this ship made sure that one day someone would wake it, someone like you. Evan's mind whirled. And that someone is me. Yes, Mara said. It seems the ship recognized something unique in you. Curiosity, courage, a spark that survived all these centuries. Evan swallowed. It was overwhelming. The idea that humanity had been deliberately erased and that he was suddenly responsible for its reappearance among the stars was almost too much to bear. And yet, he felt a sense of purpose he had never known. The ship pulsed again, projecting a large holographic map of the galaxy. Lines of light connected various star systems, while symbols marked some points in gold. These are the civilizations that once knew of humans, Mara explained. Most think we are extinct, some are cautious, a few may even want us gone entirely. Evan leaned closer to the map. And these, he pointed to the bright points of gold. Those are safe, Mara said. Civilizations that once valued humans, or who will see your presence as a sign of hope. But be warned, many may view our return as a threat. The pod's hum grew into a soft, melodic tone. Evan realized it was communicating again, but this time not just visually. The sound seemed to form words in his mind, a language older than Earth itself. He could understand it. Do you accept responsibility for the survival of your kind? The ship's voice asked, gentle but firm. Evan felt the weight of the question. This wasn't just a yes or no choice. This was the decision that could determine humanity's fate. He glanced at Mara. Her expression was calm, encouraging. He glanced at Liam, who looked nervous but trusting. And he looked back at the glowing ship, feeling its awareness pressing against him like a living presence. Yes, he said finally, his voice steady. I accept. Immediately, the ship reacted. Holographic panels floated closer, displaying complex schematics of alien machinery, star maps, and what appeared to be blueprints of worlds. Evan realized that the ship was offering him knowledge, a knowledge humanity had lost long ago. Mara's eyes sparkled. You see, Evan, humans weren't just forgotten. We were deliberately hidden because the galaxy feared us. But the creators of this ship, they believed humans could rise again if guided by someone worthy. Evan felt a shiver of excitement. So we're reintroducing humanity to the galaxy, Mara nodded. Not just introducing, showing them who we truly are, but it won't be easy. Many civilizations will test us. Some may try to stop us. The pod began to change again. Panels shifted, creating a cockpit-like space. Controls hovered in the air, responding instantly to Evan's gestures. The ship's lights seemed to form a path forward as if inviting him to explore. Evan stepped carefully into the center of the cockpit. How do I even start? He asked. Mara placed a hand on his shoulder. The first step is understanding. The ship will teach you. Observe, learn, then act. Humanity's return will depend on your decisions. The ship pulsed brighter, and Evan felt a flood of images and sensations. Visions of distant worlds, alien species, massive fleets of ships moving silently through space. Some were peaceful, others were dangerous. He realized the galaxy was not waiting for humanity. It was moving on and humans had been left behind. But now, that was changing. Evan's hands hovered over the floating controls. Instinctively, he touched one panel, and the holographic map zoomed in on a star system with a bright blue sun. Strange alien symbols floated above the planets. One planet in particular seemed to respond to his touch. It glowed brighter than the others. "Interesting," Mara said, peering over his shoulder. "That planet has been waiting for contact. Some call it a hub for interstellar diplomacy, others call it a prison, but it's where we should begin our journey." Evan felt a thrill of excitement. The adventure was real. The stakes were high, but he also felt a deep sense of responsibility. Humanity's fate rested on his shoulders, and yet he knew he wasn't alone. Mara was with him, and the ship itself seemed to guide his every move. Suddenly, a soft chime echoed through the cockpit. A new message appeared, projected in golden light. Symbols formed words in his mind. "The galaxy will test you. Do not falter. Your courage is your greatest weapon. Your humanity is your shield." Evan nodded. He understood. This wasn't just a machine. This was a mentor, a guide, and a guardian. And it had chosen him to awaken humanity. "Mom," Evan said, turning to Mara, "what happens if we fail?" Mara looked at him, her expression serious but not fearful. "Failure is not an option, Evan. But remember, humans have always survived against the odds. We have creativity, curiosity, and courage. That is why the ship recognized you. That is why humanity will rise again." Evan felt a surge of determination. He was just an ordinary teenager yesterday, helping with a garage problem. Today, he was humanity's ambassador to the stars. The thought was overwhelming but also exhilarating. The pod pulsed one last time and a hidden panel slid open, revealing a small, glowing orb. Mara picked it up carefully. "This," she said, "is a beacon. It will announce humanity's presence to the galaxy. But it must be activated with intention. Only someone recognized by the ship can do it." Evan took a deep breath. He reached out and touched the orb. The moment his fingers made contact, it flared with energy. The hum of the ship grew louder, filling the cockpit with a resonant vibration that seemed to echo in his chest. The orb projected a beam of golden light toward the ceiling, toward the sky, and then beyond into space. Liam gasped. "It's beautiful," Evan nodded. "It's more than beautiful, it's a signal, a promise. Humanity is alive," Mara smiled. "And now we wait. The galaxy will respond. Some will be curious, some cautious, and some hostile, but this is the first step." Evan looked around the cockpit, at the glowing panels, the swirling lights, and the ship that now seemed like a living companion. He realized something profound. Humanity had been hidden, but it was not gone. And now, through him, it was waking up. As the golden light faded, the ship's hum softened into a steady, reassuring pulse. Evan felt a strange sense of peace. The adventure had only just begun, but he was ready. Whatever the galaxy had in store, he would face it, not as one person, but as a representative of all humans. The pod shifted slightly, revealing a view of the night sky. Stars twinkled like diamonds, distant worlds waiting to be discovered. And in that moment, Evan understood. Humanity's story was far from over. It was just beginning. With a final glance at Mara and Liam, he whispered, "Let's show them who we are." Evan Hale could still feel the hum of the pod vibrating through his chest. He had never experienced anything like it. Even after touching the golden orb, he still didn't fully understand the enormity of what had happened. Humanity, erased from the records of countless civilizations, was now visible to the galaxy, through him. Mara stood beside him, calm and composed, as if she had seen this moment countless times before. Liam, on the other hand, was pacing nervously, his eyes darting between the glowing panels and the shimmering walls of the pod. "This is incredible," Liam muttered. I mean, it's amazing but scary too. Evan nodded, staring at the holographic displays. Planets, star systems, and alien fleets floated in midair, all connected by streams of pulsing light. The pod's hum had become a low, steady rhythm, like the heartbeat of something living. Yes, Mara said softly, it's incredible, but you must understand something. This ship isn't just a vessel, it's a teacher. And right now it is teaching you about the galaxy and about humans. Evan furrowed his brow. About humans, Mara nodded. The ship called your presence a kiss. It's not what you think. It's a symbolic gesture in the language of its creators. It means trust, consent, and recognition. By accepting it, you agreed to be humanity's link to the stars. Evan blinked. He had been confused when he first heard the question, but now he understood. It wasn't a romantic question. It was a test, a way to see if he was willing to take responsibility. I see, he said slowly. So it wasn't personal. Not at all, Mara replied with a small smile. It's about connection, about alliance. And now you have formed one with the ship. You are ready to take the first steps. The pod pulsed again and the holographic map shifted. A planet, glowing with soft blue light, hovered in the center of the display. Streams of energy connected it to other star systems, forming a network of pathways. This planet, Mara explained, is called Thaler. It was once a hub for diplomacy in the galaxy. Many civilizations met here to negotiate peace, trade, and knowledge. Some of them knew of humans long ago before we were erased. If we want to reintroduce humanity, this is the first place to go. Evan leaned closer, fascinated. So, the galaxy hasn't forgotten us completely. Not entirely, Mara said. Some records still exist. Some species remember, but many do not, and some may react badly when they realize we survived. The ship hummed louder, almost as if it agreed with Mara's words. Holographic panels floated toward Evan, displaying alien symbols, star maps, and strange blueprints. One panel showed a fleet of massive ships approaching a planet. Another displayed a complex network of signals, possibly communications or warnings between civilizations. Evan reached out, touching the panels. Instantly, the ship responded. Lights flowed along the edges of the displays, forming pathways of energy that connected distant points in space. Evan felt a thrill of excitement. The ship was teaching him how to navigate the galaxy, how to communicate with other civilizations, and how to protect humanity from potential threats. This is incredible, Evan whispered. It's like it knows everything. Mara nodded. It knows more than any human could. But it also needs humans, your mind, your instincts, your courage. That is why it chose you. Evan felt the weight of responsibility settle on his shoulders. He had never imagined that helping with a garage problem would lead to this. He was no longer just a teenager. He was humanity's ambassador, guide, and protector. The pod pulsed again, projecting a new message in golden light. Symbols formed words directly in Evan's mind. The galaxy will test you. Some will be friendly. Some will be wary. Others will seek to destroy you. Do not falter. Your courage is your strength. Your humanity is your shield. Evan nodded. He understood. The ship wasn't just a tool, it was a guardian, a mentor, and a bridge to the stars. And it had chosen him for a reason. Mom, he said, turning to Mara, how do we even contact Thaler? How do we make them know who we are? Mara gestured toward a panel displaying a glowing network of energy lines. We send a signal, yes, but it must be precise. The galaxy does not respond well to unknown presences. You must show them we are peaceful, curious, and capable. We are not invaders. We are humans returning. Evan took a deep breath. He reached out and touched the panel. The ship responded immediately, amplifying the signal and projecting it across multiple star systems. Waves of golden light streamed from the pod, reaching out like invisible fingers carrying the message of humanity to the galaxy. Liam watched, wide-eyed. It's beautiful, it's like the whole galaxy can see us. Evan nodded. Yes, and now we wait, they will respond. Some will be curious, some cautious, some hostile, Mara smiled faintly. And that is why we prepare. The ship can guide us, teach us, and protect us. But your instincts, your decisions, they will matter more than anything. The pod's hum deepened and a new set of holographic panels appeared. This time they showed alien species, some humanoid, some completely foreign. Some were tall and elegant, others short and compact. Some had multiple limbs, glowing eyes, or shimmering skin. Each species appeared to have its own culture, its own rules, and its own expectations. Many of these species, Mara explained, will test you. Some will ask for proof of your intentions, others will challenge you, and a few will try to take what you hold. Evan felt a surge of determination. He was ready. Humans had survived countless challenges on Earth. Now they would survive in the galaxy, and he would be their guide. The pod pulsed once more, projecting a final message. Trust is the first step. Knowledge is the second. Courage is the third. Fail not, for the galaxy watches. Evan looked at Mara. So this is it. The real test, Mara nodded. Yes, but remember, tests are not meant to destroy. They are meant to prepare. And humans, we are survivors. We have been hidden but never defeated. Evan felt a surge of pride. For the first time, he understood the true meaning of the pod's question, the symbolic kiss. It wasn't about him personally. It was about trust, responsibility, and connection. By accepting it, he had agreed to rise to the challenge, to carry humanity back into the galaxy. The ship seemed to pulse in approval, as if acknowledging his understanding. Lights flowed along the walls, forming patterns that resembled constellations he had never seen. And then a soft, melodic tone filled the pod. Evan realized it was communicating again, not in words but in feelings. Warmth, encouragement, and a sense of purpose flowed through him. "This is incredible," Evan whispered. "It's alive, and it trusts me." "Yes," Mara said softly. "And that trust is powerful. It is why humans can rise again. It is why the galaxy must remember us." Evan took a deep breath. He looked at Liam, who still seemed unsure but ready to follow. "Are you ready?" he asked. Liam nodded. "As ready as I'll ever be." Mara placed a hand on Evan's shoulder. "Then let us prepare. Thaler awaits, and with it, the first encounter of humanity with the galaxy." The pod pulsed one final time, and a door opened at the far end, revealing a starfield stretching endlessly into space. Lights shimmered like diamonds, distant planets glowing faintly against the black void. Evan felt a thrill of excitement and fear. This was the unknown. This was humanity's future, and he was leading the way. He took a step forward, feeling the pod respond to his movements. It was more than a ship. It was a companion, a guide, and a protector. And through it, humans would once again walk among the stars. Evan knew one thing for certain. The galaxy would never forget humanity again. Not now. Not ever. With Mara and Liam at his side, he whispered to the pod, "Let's go. Let's show the galaxy who we are." And for the first time in centuries, humanity's light reached beyond Earth, carried by a boy, a ship, and a hope that could not be erased. Evan Hale's pulse raced as he peered through the pod's viewports. Stars stretched endlessly in all directions, a vast ocean of light and darkness, dotted with planets and systems that had never known humans existed. The hum of the ship was steady, like a heartbeat, and it seemed to resonate with his own. Mara stood beside him, her expression calm but intense. "The galaxy will notice us soon," she said softly. "Some will respond with curiosity, others with caution, and a few will respond with hostility. Be ready." Liam swallowed nervously. "Hostility, like attack?" "Possibly," Mara replied. "Some civilizations might see humanity's return as a threat. They erased us from history for a reason, but courage, strategy, and intelligence are our shields, and humans have never been weak." Evan nodded, feeling both fear and excitement. He had never imagined his life could change so drastically in a single day. Yesterday, he was helping with a garage. Today, he was humanity's ambassador to the stars. The pod pulsed, and a holographic display appeared in front of Evan. Streams of light connected multiple star systems, converging on a single planet Thaler. It glowed a soft, serene blue, surrounded by rings of orbiting satellites. Alien ships moved cautiously around it, scanning the space like sentinels. "This is our destination," Mara said. "Thaler is where we make our first contact. If the galaxy is to remember humanity, it begins here." Evan studied the display. He noticed patterns in the alien ships, formations that suggested military readiness. "They're waiting for us," he said quietly. "Yes," Mara said. "And we must be prepared. The galaxy will test you. Your decisions, your courage, your humanity, they will all be under scrutiny. But remember, humans survived on Earth against impossible odds. This is no different." The ship pulsed again, and a new set of panels appeared. This time they displayed alien species, some humanoid, some completely foreign. One had translucent skin revealing glowing organs. Another had 6 limbs and shimmering wings. Each species seemed to hold its own power, knowledge, and expectation. Evan's eyes widened. "So they all know about humans." "Some do," Mara said. "Others will react with surprise or fear, and a few may try to test your strength. But that is why we are here, to show them who humans truly are." The pod hummed, and a soft, melodic tone filled the cabin. Evan realized it was communicating, not with words but with feelings. Warmth, reassurance, and purpose flowed through him. He felt the ship guiding his hands, suggesting courses, strategies, and even messages to send. "All right," Evan said, taking a deep breath. "Let's do this." Mara nodded. "We will approach carefully, show them we are peaceful, show them we are capable, show them we are human." The pod shifted, and the stars outside became streaks of light as it accelerated toward Thaler. Evan felt the exhilaration of speed, the thrill of motion through space, and the weight of responsibility pressing on him. Humanity's first step back into the galaxy was not a casual one. It was a declaration. Hours passed, or perhaps days. Time seemed different inside the pod. Finally, Thaler came into view. The planet was larger than Earth, its blue ocean sparkling, clouds drifting lazily across its surface. Around it, dozens of alien ships patrolled, their designs varied, some sleek and silver, others dark and imposing. "They're observing us," Mara said. "They've detected the signal we sent. Now it is their turn to react." Evan's hands hovered over the floating controls. He could feel the ship responding to his thoughts, anticipating his decisions. He touched a panel, sending a calm, peaceful transmission toward the alien fleet. Lights on the pods flickered in response, and Evan could sense attention shifting toward them. One by one, alien ships changed course, moving slightly to form a perimeter around Thaler. Some hovered in place, scanning, while others transmitted signals that shimmered across space. The pod pulsed again, translating the messages into forms Evan could understand. "Who are you?" the message read. "Why have you returned?" another demanded. "Do you come as allies or invaders?" Evan's heart pounded. This was the moment of truth. Humanity had been erased, forgotten, and now they were back, represented by a single teenager and an ancient ship. How would the galaxy respond? "We answer as humans," Mara said. "We come as explorers, as learners, and as survivors. Nothing more, nothing less." Evan nodded. He touched the main control panel, sending a series of pulses toward the alien fleet. The pulses formed a message of peace, honesty, and courage, a human message, simple but clear. The ship amplified it, ensuring that every alien vessel within the vicinity received it. For a tense moment, nothing happened. Then, a ripple of light spread through the fleet. Alien ships adjusted their formations, some moving closer in cautious curiosity, others maintaining distance but no longer aggressive. Evan exhaled. They're listening." Mara smiled faintly. "Yes, the first step is done, but now comes the test. Some will seek proof that humans are trustworthy. Others will challenge you. Pay attention. Stay calm. Humanity is stronger than they realize." Suddenly, a large alien ship detached from the main formation. It moved quickly, approaching the pod with measured precision. Its design was unlike anything Evan had seen, angular, dark, and covered in strange symbols. A golden light flickered across its surface as it sent a direct transmission. "Identify yourselves," the message read. "Prove your intentions." Evan felt a surge of determination. "We are humans," he replied, choosing his words carefully. "We come from Earth. We were hidden, erased from your records, but we are alive. We seek knowledge, peace, and understanding. We mean no harm." The alien ship paused, almost as if considering his words. Then a new message appeared. "Humans, your species was considered extinct. Why return now?" Evan thought carefully. "Because we survived. Because curiosity and courage cannot be erased. Because humanity has something to offer the galaxy: creativity, resilience, and the will to learn." The pod hummed, as if affirming his words. Lights flowed along its walls, signaling approval. Mara placed a hand on his shoulder. "You speak well," she said. "Remember, actions matter as much as words. Be honest, be brave, and they will see humanity's true strength." The alien ship transmitted one final message. "We will test you. One day we may trust you. One day we may ally with you. But first, prove your courage." Evan felt the weight of the challenge. This was not just a diplomatic mission. This was a trial. Humanity had been forgotten, erased, and now it had to prove itself. And he was the one leading the charge. The pod pulsed again, projecting a series of holographic panels. Each panel displayed potential challenges: navigation through asteroid fields, communication with multiple alien species, and defense against unknown threats. The ship was preparing them, teaching them, guiding them toward the trials ahead. Evan turned to Mara. "Are we ready for this?" Mara nodded. "We are never fully ready, but we are capable. Trust the ship, trust each other, and trust yourself. Humanity's strength lies not in power alone, but in courage, intelligence, and unity." Evan took a deep breath. He felt a surge of determination, of pride, and of hope. The galaxy had erased humans, but it had not destroyed them. And now humanity would rise not as conquerors, but as survivors, explorers, and allies. Liam stepped closer. "So, what's the first test?" Evan glanced at the holographic panels. "We'll see soon. The galaxy will make the first move and will respond calmly, wisely, bravely." Mara smiled. "Remember, Evan, the first test is observation, the second is action, and the third is courage. Do not falter." The pod accelerated toward Thaler, its lights merging with the stars. Alien ships formed a perimeter around the planet, watching, scanning, analyzing. The moment had come. Humanity would be judged. Humanity would prove itself. Evan felt the hum of the ship in his chest, the warmth of its awareness, and the certainty of its trust. This was humanity's first step back into the galaxy, and through him, they would show the universe who they truly were. As the stars streaked past the pod's viewports, Evan whispered to himself, "Humanity has returned, and we will not be forgotten again." Evan Hale could feel the tension in the pod as they approached Thaler. Every star outside the viewport seemed sharper, closer, almost alive. The alien ships forming a perimeter around the planet were no longer just observers. They were sentinels, waiting to see what humanity would do. Mara stood beside him, her eyes calm but intense. "This is it," she said. "The first real contact. The galaxy is watching, and it will judge us by our actions." Liam swallowed nervously. "So this is the moment we prove ourselves." "Yes," Mara said. "But remember, courage, honesty, and intelligence matter more than force. This is not a war. It is a greeting, a declaration. A chance to show who we are." Evan nodded. He could feel the hum of the pod, steady and reassuring like the heartbeat of a living companion. The ship had been preparing him, teaching him, guiding him every step of the way. Now it was time to act. He reached out and touched the central control panel. Holographic panels floated around him, displaying alien symbols, star systems, and signals from the perimeter ships. The pod responded immediately, amplifying his intentions, forming a message that the galaxy could understand. Evan spoke clearly, his voice firm but calm. "This is humanity. We come from Earth. We were hidden, erased, and forgotten, but we are alive. We seek knowledge, friendship, and understanding. We mean no harm." The pod projected the message across the fleet, translating his words into forms the alien sensors could read. Lights on the alien ships flickered in response, scanning, analyzing, and translating. For a tense moment, there was silence. Then one by one, alien ships began to adjust their positions, lowering defensive postures and moving closer. Evan felt a surge of hope. "They're listening," he whispered. "Yes," Mara said. "And now comes the real test. Some will approach. Some will demand proof of our intentions. Others may try to challenge us. Pay attention. Respond wisely." Suddenly, one of the largest alien ships detached from the perimeter and moved toward them. Its design was sleek and intimidating, covered in glowing symbols that pulsed rhythmically. A golden beam of light projected from it, forming a direct communication channel. "Identify yourselves," the ship transmitted. "Prove your claims. Are you friend or foe?" Evan took a deep breath. "We are humans," he said, carefully choosing each word. "We have been hidden, erased from your records, but we are alive. We come as friends. We seek knowledge, dialogue, and understanding. We are not invaders. We are explorers." The alien ship paused, analyzing. Then a new transmission appeared. "Humans, your species was once known. You were considered extinct. Why return now?" Evan thought carefully. "Because we survived," he said. "Curiosity, courage, and the will to learn cannot be erased. We are humans. We have something to offer the galaxy: creativity, resilience, and determination to understand, not conquer." The pod hummed, responding to his words. Lights flowed along the walls, signaling approval. Mara placed a hand on his shoulder. "You speak well. But remember, actions speak louder than words." Evan nodded. He reached toward another panel, projecting a series of holographic demonstrations. He showed images of Earth, its oceans, forests, cities, and people. He displayed human achievements in science, art, and technology. He showed their ability to solve problems, cooperate, and survive against impossible odds. The alien ships reacted. Some moved closer in curiosity. Others maintained distance, still cautious but no longer hostile. The message was clear. Humans were alive, capable, and worthy of attention. Then, one of the alien vessels projected a challenge, a holographic maze of energy fields, signaling a test of intelligence and problem-solving. Evan's pulse quickened. This was part of the trial, a test to prove humanity's capabilities without violence. The pod responded instantly, projecting a simulation overlay for Evan to manipulate. He guided the energy streams with steady hands, analyzing, adjusting, and recalculating. The maze shifted with him, responding to his thought and intention. After tense minutes, the final gate opened, a clear signal of success. A wave of golden light spread across the alien fleet. The ships adjusted their formations, signaling acknowledgement. Evan exhaled, a sense of pride swelling in his chest. Humanity had passed the first challenge, not by force but by intelligence, courage, and ingenuity. Mara smiled faintly. "They see us. They are beginning to understand what it means to have humans among the stars." Suddenly, a ripple of movement passed through the alien ships. Several smaller vessels approached the pod, forming a protective ring. Others projected communication channels. This was not aggression. It was curiosity, cautious respect, and willingness to engage. Evan realized the full meaning of the pod's symbolic kiss. It had not been a question of affection but a test of trust and responsibility. By accepting it, he had proven himself worthy of representing humanity. And now, the galaxy was starting to trust him. A new message appeared from the largest alien ship. "Humans, your return is unprecedented. We will observe further. Some may test you, others may invite dialogue. But know this: Your courage and intelligence have been noted. Evan felt a rush of pride. We are humans, he whispered. We survived, we learned, and we will continue to rise. Mara placed a hand on his shoulder. This is only the beginning, but it is a strong beginning. The galaxy remembers now, and humanity will never be erased again. The pod pulsed, projecting new panels. One displayed distant star systems, each a potential ally, each a new challenge. Another displayed alien symbols, representing species eager to learn from or interact with humans. The possibilities were endless. Evan looked at Liam, who still seemed overwhelmed but inspired. We did it, Evan said softly. They know we exist, and they are listening. Yes, Mara said, but listen carefully. The galaxy will test us in many ways. Curiosity, diplomacy, strategy, all will be part of the journey, but humans have survived worse. And now we have allies, knowledge, and a path forward. The pod pulsed again, the hum steady and comforting. Evan could feel the ship's awareness, its approval, its guidance. It had trusted him, and now he understood what it meant to be the representative of humanity, responsible not for himself, but for an entire species waking to the stars. Evan took a deep breath and addressed the alien fleet. We come not to conquer, but to learn. We come not as threats, but as partners. Humanity is alive. Humanity is curious, courageous, and capable, and we invite you to meet us as friends. The fleet responded in waves of light, signals pulsing across space. Some ships adjusted their courses to approach the pod. Others formed clear patterns of acknowledgement. Evan felt a thrill of excitement. This was first contact, the moment humanity had been waiting for, even without knowing it. Mara placed a hand on Evan's shoulder once more. You have done well, she said. This is the first step, and it is a strong one. The galaxy sees humanity now, and we will continue to show them who we are. Evan looked out the pod's viewport at Thaler below. Its oceans sparkled, its skies glowed with alien suns, and its orbiting satellites shimmered like guardians. Humanity's presence had been noted, respected, and cautiously welcomed. For the first time in centuries, humans were no longer forgotten. A wave of golden light flowed through the pod, and Evan realized the full significance of the moment. This was more than first contact. This was humanity's declaration. They were alive, resilient, and ready to take their place in the galaxy. He whispered softly, almost to himself, humanity has returned, and we will not be forgotten. Liam, standing beside him, nodded. Yeah, I think the galaxy is finally starting to see us. The pod hummed in agreement, its light pulsing gently like a heartbeat of hope. Mara smiled faintly, her eyes reflecting the stars outside. This is the beginning, she said. A new chapter for humanity, and it starts now. Evan felt a surge of determination. Humanity had survived countless challenges on Earth. Now it would face the galaxy, with courage, intelligence, and unity. And he, Evan Hale, would lead the way, showing the stars what humans could achieve. The alien fleet began to move in synchronized patterns, signaling the start of a dialogue, a series of tests, and perhaps the beginning of alliances. Evan knew the path ahead would not be easy, but he was ready. Humanity was awake, and the galaxy had taken notice. As the pod hovered above Thaler, glowing with energy and life, Evan whispered again, "Let's show them who we are. Humanity has returned, and we will shine among the stars." For the first time in centuries, humans were seen, not as a memory, not as a myth, but as a living, breathing, courageous species, ready to explore, learn, and thrive in the vast expanse of the galaxy. And in that moment, Evan understood the truth. Humanity's story was far from over. It had only just begun.